welcome to Quest for Player 2.
Oh.
Wait, what's happening?
Oh, no,
Are we live?
I'm doing some
live?
things.
Are we not live?
Doing some things. I'm sorry.
Are
I don't. Yeah, you did, and I'm sorry. Yes. That's. Hi, America.
What's up? Poop.
Poop is the answer. That's right. That's
That
what
is
we're
the only thing
discussing
that
today.
pops out in this chat. You can tell exactly what I'm interested in. Well, welcome to Quest for Player 2 on this Tuesday. I am LT and...
Holla at your boy! It's me, the BSG. That's right, Battlestar Galactica, a.k.a. the intergalactic instigator, the purveyor of petty, the controversial conversationalist, a.k.a. for the people out there that know and are watching, Blackavelli. All right.
There's a second one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. There's a little more and I left out. Poop. Why are people saying poop?
I don't know.
Why? What's going on with poop?
I said poop twice. 3 times.
Poop.
All right. Today, we are actually ending our indie film month with the movie Her, directed by Spike Jonze. It has a Joker in it.
Yes.
It
has the Joker.
Enchanted.
It has, yeah, huh? Well, I mean, it has from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah, it's Chris Pratt. It has Star-Lord. Who?
Yep, it has Star-Lord. It has Scarlett, Black
Widow.
Guys.
Has
If you
Kristen
love,
Wiig as a voice.
if you guys love,
Dead cat sex. And,
I didn't know there were so many people in this movie.
Yeah.
I just forgot it.
Because it's small cameos.
It is.
I don't even know if it's considered cameos if they were big when this came out.
Well, yeah, a cameo is just you just show up, you do something. And
and that's what it was. They are all just in passing.
Yeah.
Our main guy is Joker, Joaquin Phoenix. We have and Scarlett Johannsen as a voice. We never even see her, which is super interesting. This is a very what is it, ASMR kind of thing to me, where
I agree.
Is so good. Just speaking to that, I don't know, microphone or whatever.
There are cringeworthy moments.
She has such a soothing voice, though.
She does.
And it's so emotional that I can, picture exactly what she looks like just based on the tone of her voice.
It's raspy, it's sultry.
Yeah.
And it's also very...
Yes!
Yes!
I absolutely adore it.
Literally, I can hear her talk to me all day, and I'm just like... And the problem is when her voice gets sore, it's going to sound exactly the same. So it's perfectly fine.
Sure. It's really weird. My first encounter, well, not encounter, but introduction to Scarlett Johansson was this movie called Ghost World. It had Thor Birch and a creepy Steve Buscemi as an older man.
Yeah.
And then she was the friend, and I don't know, there was something super captivating.
That was a Ricky Gervais movie, right?
Was it?
Ghost World with wasn't he on it?
He might have been. I only really remember Thor Birch, Scarlett Johansson, and Steve Buscemi.
Who was the person that talked to the ghost?
No ghost.
Wait, you said Ghost World?
Ghost World. Do you guys know what Ghost World is?
I'm thinking of something else completely different. Never mind.
It was also a very indie movie.
Oh no, yeah, I'm thinking something completely different.
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
But yeah, I remember her from this, and it's man, I can't believe that her voice is now the most attractive thing in this entire movie.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, she's very attractive herself. My God.
Neo Dragon Ranger is here just as a cameo.
Well,
now I leave. Goodbye.
What do you say?
I'm here just as a cameo.
That was good. Bravo. Ciao. So pretty much the movie is about a guy who essentially falls in love with
he's getting out
an
of
AI.
a marriage, and he's feeling a little lonely, and he's a writer, kind of what's his name? Tom in 500 Days of Summer.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's so many similarities.
Yeah, and he overcomes all of his anxiety and introvertedness and all of that through an AI system, Samantha.
I like her explanation of it much better than mine.
It's interesting. It's super interesting, though, and I guess kind of just jumping into it, because we know that this kind of exists nowadays. I feel like we would call them kind of otakus. We would call them the people that like the VNs of visual novels like me, but get a little bit more invested than obviously I do to my pigeon schoolboys. And then but I mean, there are a lot of that people do fall in love with kind of an online presence, entity,
I agree.
personality.
I agree. That makes sense.
I'm not sure if there's an official word for it. I should have done some more background research going into this. But I don't know. It's super interesting, and it kind of normalizes it and makes it kind of okay.
Well, everyone accepted it in the film. There was no one who actually was like, what, or shocked, or, it's a computer, what are you talking about? No, everyone was like, yeah, okay, They got it.
Yeah, like the best friend, Amy Adams, was just kind of like when Joaquin Phoenix's character, what's his name in this
Theo.
movie? When Theodore talks to
Samantha.
Nope.
Oh,
Amy Adams.
Oh shit, I forgot. Okay.
Whatever, that character, and it's like, hey, that girl I've been dating, she's actually like the OS system.
Yeah.
And she was just like, he's like, oh god, it's so weird, and you can feel his embarrassment.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, like, I completely understand. You can have these connections, like they're learning on their own, and it's like, man, interesting.
I did like that, the normality of it all.
Yeah.
Go ahead and saying, okay,
Doesn't
we accept
shame,
it.
Doesn't do anything.
Right?
Because obviously everyone's talking to someone all the time. You can see the piece in their ear. They're narrating everything when they're on the train, on the bus, walking around. Everybody is talking.
Oh man. So, in the film, was there a moment at any time where you looked and you were like, I'm kind of jealous? At all?
Jealous of
anyone in the film. Because what I've been noticing is a lot of people are like, man, you know what? They've been all saying, I wish blah, blah, blah. I wish blah, 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 concerning something in the film, meaning they wish their portion of their life could reflect or be like something in the film.
Not with necessarily another person or a personality or a OS system, but I do wish we had that technology where you can have a very, like, normal conversation. Instead of, like, where he was just like, oh, I forgot what it was. It's like, please read my emails or something. Like, he's giving commands.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. And she kind of teases it. It's like, oh, would you please look through my emails or something? I forget exact wording of it, but it's like the way that we talk to our devices now versus the way that you could potentially talk to devices in this particular future, and have this kind of running conversation where they understand sarcasm, where they understand, like, I don't know, like commands and being funny and like
almost
humor and
essentially.
everything else.
Well, they are sentient. That's what ultimately becomes. They get to that higher plane of existence and all that. So I mean, they definitely are. Smart House. I remember the title, but I did not see the movie. If I did, it was years ago. Derek Harvey, you should watch it. It is available on Netflix. So everyone who hasn't seen her, if you want to, and you feel that you can handle it.
It depends, like, what age you are, too.
That's why I said if you think you can handle it, because it's definitely a rated R film.
There are certain moments. It's not bad. It's not grotesque. It's not violent. It's not any of that. But there are some sexual scenes that are present in there.
Yeah. So
the context of the movie is way more adult. So.
Yeah. I suggest 18 and up, and also I do suggest just kind of evaluating yourself if you think you can handle it. If you can't, no one's judging. Don't watch it. But if you can, go ahead and give it a watch.
I think it's really good, and it really makes you think. It's one of the, like, all of these movies this month give me that weird kind of feeling where I don't know if I'm happy or if I'm sad, and it just makes me contemplate life and a lot of other things when I'm done with it.
Well, it did make me question the whole thing of what's the use of a doomed relationship when it comes to, like, literature or film. But it's like every one of these that we saw where there was indeed a doomed relationship, things worked out in some way. The person definitely grew. And it was like, once again, like we say, that lesson learned.
And the thing is, it's the experience of going through this that helps you grow as a person. It helps you reflect. It helps you grow. It helps you realize what you do want, what you don't want, what you are looking for, and what you aren't looking for in any kind of relationship. Doesn't even have to be romantic.
That's it.
But that's what we focus on here at Quest Player 2.
Definitely. And once again, it's just a lesson learned. It's something that you can pull from this, and you're definitely like, I got it.
27. You're older than I thought you were.
Yeah, right? Wow.
Well, you are perfectly fine to watch her if you so choose to.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, I didn't know. 27. I did not know that. Much older than I thought you were.
Yeah.
Because,
yeah, you can handle it. It's a slow building movie. It's very indie. It's very sparse with dialogue, considering all the characters that are in there. The interactions are very... I don't know how to explain it.
It's a Spike Jonze film. And if you're familiar with Spike Jonze's work,
or even his music videos, I feel like you've probably at least seen a few of his music videos. There you go.
You'll know that sometimes what he likes to do is work with a pensive character that usually doesn't speak, but yet everything they're emoting is what's really getting to you. And he likes to play with silence. And he does it well in this film as well.
And music. And all the music is completely authentic. Like, if you hear music playing, it's because someone is actually listening to it. And I love that. It's super immersive. And Anthony Manzano, I actually don't know what movie you're talking about, but if you find the title, and if it's on Netflix.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or Amazon. But yeah, Helen Hunt, where she plays a sex therapist for men who are dying from cancer. Do you guys know who that is?
Who Helen Hunt is?
No, do you know the movie?
It was a made-for-TV movie for like Showtime or something.
Oh.
What? Really? Well, she was a sex therapist for dying men? That's interesting.
The Sessions.
Oh. It kind of reminds me of reverse Keanu Reeves movie called Sweet November. The chick is dying, and he's not a therapist, but I think he does offer her some kind of like lease on life.
Maybe it's not the one, but still.
Okay. But yeah, so I
Okay.
lost my train of thought.
My thing is, I saw some things in this film that were interesting to me. One thing, for example, was equating it to long-distance relationships.
Yes.
That's one thing. Sex surrogate is actually the name of what her job would have been. That's what I thought when he said it. So I was like, ah. But anyway, and polyamory is also addressed. There are a few things that are addressed. The fact of being alone, dealing with emotions. There are a few things.
I mean, it's a lot of it too, and even later in the movie, it kind of reminded me how Samantha is able to obviously multitask because she's an AI system that's like linked up to a whole bunch of like, I don't know, the World Wide Web.
World
and she
Wide,
can
yeah.
surf everything like in an instant. And Theo gets kind of jealous. It's like, hey, while you were talking to me, like you were doing all this other stuff, and it reminded me of Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen.
Oh yeah.
Where
That's
Silk
good.
Spectre was just like, dude, like, you're having sex with me, but you're also like in the lab and fucking doing dishes and laundry and like saving the world, and I don't know, probably giving people cancer.
Well, yeah, because it's like pretty much on that. It's like, well, what you do, you see me as a task. You don't see me as something to actually really be involved with. You see me as a task, just like everything else. That's
but it's
why
not
you
even
split yourself
necessarily a
up.
task. I think it's because they're operating on such a different level than we can even comprehend.
Well, yeah.
Because for us, we have to be undivided attention because our brains can only handle so much input at a given time. Can only focus on so much at a given time. But for an AI system where it's like, yo, my computer, I'll have like 20 tabs open where I was like, got my YouTube, got my Wikipedia to like make references, got my Facebook over here,
That's true.
got my movies going over here, got Pandora open over here.
That's
like,
true. That's
you
true.
know, and so computers can multitask. Like they have the ability to run all of these things and still be directed at one thing. You know, where it kind of makes sense. Where he just doesn't understand. And she's jealous in the beginning too, because it's like, yo, you're talking to these girls, like they actually have a physical form, like I can't have that. I don't know what boss is.
That's true.
You know, you get the jealousy on both sides, which is super interesting.
But it's like the weird thing about it is like you feel, you know, when you're in a relationship with someone, you want to feel like the one. You don't want to feel like
one of many.
One of. You want to feel like the one, not one of. And that's exactly what what he felt like when he understood, oh, okay, wait, how many other people are you in love with? And she was like, oh, it's only been a few weeks. Oh, okay, 641.
Yeah.
You're in love with 641 other people besides me. That becomes unfathomable for me, where it's just like, I'm lost. Because it's like, you are understanding emotion. You're getting to this point where you're surpassing what it is to even be human. But yet, you are still very kind of robotic about it. Where it's like, you are separating emotion from the one word that literally describes emotion, which is love.
So if we transition to this, it's a subject that I'm not necessarily super intelligent about or well versed in, but you mentioned polyamory.
Yes.
And in those kind of relationships, you can genuinely love multiple people, give your undivided attention while you're with that person, give them the affection, respect, and support that they need.
Yes.
And there will be other people in your life who you can provide the same for, and they do the same for you.
Very true.
But in maybe a different aspect, a different personality trait, you know, something that's a little bit different. So I feel like they are kind of more operating on a Samantha level.
Indeed. Well, when it comes to polyamory, I wouldn't say it's operating on that level, because the thing is,
I mean, not 600 whatever, you know.
Well, yeah,
but on
but
multiple.
actually, you're right, because when she says the more you love, the heart is like a box that will always stretch to fit.
Yeah.
So it's like the more you love, the larger it gets, which means now there's more room to put more in. And it's like, I get that, and that's how she equates it when she understands loving him and also loving all these other people. Now, of course, the multitasking and that ability to do so is why there's 641. But if it was one human being that was feeling that way, she'd probably, okay, well, there's you, and then there's one other person.
Yeah.
What you're getting from one person is something that you're something that you can't get from this other one.
Yes.
And then, everyone has particular kind of attributes or whatever you want to call
and there's
it.
like rules kind of like in a
yeah.
polyamorous relationship that we're going to be upfront about this is what I care about. We need to be communicative on these particular subjects.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if reducing this is going to be an insult to like polyamorous people or to like this movie, but it's kind of like when someone asks you to pick your favorite, I don't know, ice cream
Flavor of ice cream.
Yeah.
That's what people usually do, and
Yeah.
they use that as an idiom.
And
when
it's
they
just,
say it.
okay. So so other people have used this kind of analogy. So, Baskin Robbins has 31 flavors.
Yes.
And maybe you fucking love chocolate. Like, chocolate is your favorite. But guess what? Sometimes you want to get some peanut butter cups in your chocolate ice cream.
Hey.
Or maybe
or
you want
pecan
strawberry,
praline.
or you want
just
like
want
a
pecan
sorbet.
praline. Who knows? That's
and-
Daniel's favorite. Just letting you guys know when you send ice cream to Daniel or whatever.
I take what I can get.
Oh, okay. No, I'm specific. That's what I want. You guys give me what I want. That's what I'm here for. Anyway.
Whoa, Joaquin just came up super big out of nowhere.
Learning the
Hey, I was just wow. I was like,
Thanks, producer.
Oh, jeez.
He's just like, he's staring into my soul.
He is. They're so piercing. Those eyes are just like,
Yeah,
are they
against
blue,
the
green,
red.
or are they hazel? What?
Oh, I don't know, but they
I
just
just-
pop out against the red background, and it just seems so passionate and so love it. But I digress. So
Yes.
talking about the 31 flavors of ice cream, I kind of equate that to like a polyamorous thing, and I do understand it at its basic foundations. I absolutely understand. Like, you can't pick one. People are amazing, and there are so many amazing people out there that I get not wanting to be monogamous in a single relationship.
Very true. Very true. And the thing is, it was like what I did notice, and it was brilliant how they played it this way for him, was the double of everything. That's something that people always worry about when it comes to a polyamorous relationship, especially where it's like male, female, or something like that. Because the thing is, women are more in tune with their emotions. They're able to usually describe or explain them in far more better detail than men can. And the thing is, you get that double of everything. It was like double love, double passion, double emotions, double arguments, double explaining. And it's like you get the good and the bad, and you saw all of that happen right there in the scene where she's like, oh, I found someone who like works as a surrogate in that way, blah, blah. And then she came in, and when she came in, when he was like, oh no, because there was something wrong with him, how that changed everything. And all of a sudden, Theo and Sam are on the other side of this door trying to tell her, like, no, it's okay, it's not you. And he says something, and she's like, what? And he's like, oh no. So now he's being attacked from two sides, and they're still trying to work together to help her at the same time. And it's just like, I was like, like, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And that's the one thing about polyamorous, like, relationships that was like, okay, I can't. I gotta check out of this. Because that stuff, that's too much.
But it's hard. Like, when you set rules and boundaries, polyamorous relationships do work incredibly successfully.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, kind of talking about like the duality and stuff, just like within the movie, I like that it's kind of more, I guess, on a figurative level, like how he's playing as this lonely robot guy in this game where he plays like every night before he goes to bed or whatever it might be. And you get a sense of like, hey, objectively, like, you put yourself into his place, you put yourself into the game's place, and it becomes a self-reflective mirror to his life. And I super like that. And like his interaction with this AI system, like he talks about like, oh my god, like this little guy that keeps saying like shit, fuck you, shit,
I loved it. I loved it.
And then like he finally talks to him and is like, shit, and he was like, okay, I'll show you the way.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, this little game creature is like such a fucking asshole. And I like him.
I love how he did say
You know?
that. Yeah, and then they were like, Okay, all right. And that girl laughed about it, like, oh, okay, you know,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying
But
here.
it's the same thing, like how he is able to empathize with these game characters. I think helps him connect with Samantha, and Samantha like kind of likewise they build this bond. And I feel like it makes it less weird because I have that too. Like when I play video games, there'll be a character, and it's just like, dude, you're a little cinnamon roll. I'm here to protect you, and I will let nothing harm you.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And you kind of get that. And you get these feelings with that. For me, it made it really acceptable for him to fall in love with Samantha because of that. Where I'm like, dude, if I already have affinity for, like, game creatures that don't exist and don't even talk to me, I can't imagine what it would be like to have an AI system that actively engages with you.
Well, see, the thing is, I think also for this, it's kind of... for him, his past had a lot to do with what he was experiencing in his present and what he was willing to be open to. That marriage was very interesting for me because, like, I have it written down, and it's like, during a marriage, Theo had a hard time sharing his emotions, being emotionally available, providing an open channel for communication, and he loved the idea of being a husband and wife, but was completely overwhelmed. You could see it in every step. He was physically there, but not emotionally, which is a stark contrast with his relationship with Samantha, where there is no physical aspect, only an emotional one.
But it's so weird because I saw that too. Like in the movie, it does visually portray that him and Maya Rooney's character was not, you know, like necessarily compatible, but the way that he talks about her, maybe it's because he's a writer and there's that line where it's like, the past is just a story we tell ourselves kind of thing.
Yes.
And he talks about her and it's like, oh, like, why did you guys get along? He's like, we dated forever. Like, she came from a family that said she was never good enough and I was there just to support her. I read everything she wrote. She read everything I wrote. And it sounds like there was so much more than there actually was. And I don't know if this is what he keeps telling himself, where it's like, no, we were meant to be together. Kind of like Tom in 500 Days of Summer, where it's like, only remembers the idealized aspects of summer.
Oh,
and that
that's
kind of
true.
like affects the way he thinks about things in life instead of looking at it objectively.
Well,
But
see-
man, the way he talked about her, I was like, they had to have been in love.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, he just didn't know how to truly be in the relationship and work with it as it was happening. I think that was some of the issue with it, where it's like, it's kind of ironic knowing that a guy who writes out people's feelings for a living was unable to truly deal with his feelings in real life. And it was just like, man,
But
that kind of sucks.
he is super sensitive. Like,
Yeah.
the way that he writes, like, his prose is incredibly amazing. Like, Star-Lord comes by and even says, like, dude, you're part woman.
Yeah, right?
And he was like, it's a compliment. It is a compliment, you know? Oh, but I gotta read this, though. Fernando, which horror movie still traumatizes you? Herbie Fully Loaded or Gem in the Hologram? What? Are those
He
horror
had
movies?
another one he asked earlier, and I was like, he is killing it right now. Yeah, he said, yeah, Dark Phoenix or Sex and the
Where are
City
you
2.
pulling these, like...
I don't know, but these are genius. Like, I'm loving it right now. It's bravo, though. Very funny.
But
Very
I did
funny.
watch the most current, like, Gem movie, and that was absolutely horrible. That was a terrible movie. That does traumatize me. 'Cause
It
that
does.
movie should have been amazing.
Yeah. Herbie Fully Loaded, I think, was actually pretty okay, man. It was pretty okay. I mean,
I
it
didn't
was.
watch that. That's a Love Bug movie, right?
Yeah, it was Herbie the Love Bug, like the car.
Yeah.
And with Scarlett, not Scarlett Johansson. What's the
Lindsay-
redhead? Yeah,
Lindsay
there you
Lohan.
go. There you
Yeah.
go. Firecrotch.
But Gem, that movie was terrible. I was hoping it'd be like Josie and the Pussycats, and it just wasn't.
It was not at
was not
all.
even
It
close.
was
Like
such
me
a
growing up,
disappointment.
Josie and the Pussycats was like the shit. Just like me
Yeah.
growing up, the Charlie's Angels movie with Lucy Liu and all that. We're digressing.
Yeah,
but,
just
you know.
don't watch a new Charlie's Angels movie, guys. I'm just
I
telling
don't
you that
know.
much.
I
right
haven't
now.
seen the trailer. I haven't seen the trailer, but man, I love that Charlie's
Well, you
Angels
should
movie
check
so
it out.
much.
You should check out the trailer, and then
heard
you'll
it's
be like,
terrible.
"Oh, I'm definitely not gonna watch it."
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's gonna happen. That's what should happen.
Probably.
Back to the film.
I know we can talk movies all night.
We can.
Actually, we did see some of. I did see someone asking us to talk about certain movies, like A Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
Oh, I love that movie.
If
It's
you
so
have
good.
any movie suggestions
Martin
that
Lawrence.
you want us
yeah.
to watch, I would love it. I am actually pretty ignorant when it comes to movies. We'll probably do it after December though, because I want to talk Christmas movies. in
Yes,
December.
yes.
Or holiday movies. Any kind of holiday movies.
We got holiday movies we're gonna cover. I'm sorry, so that's definitely. But right after that, so kind of start getting those
No,
wheels
Josh,
cranking.
I don't know if I want to watch a Josie and the Pussycats video.
Yeah, that's nope.
I kind of almost
From
have a
Josh,
feeling
I know it's not good.
It has nothing to do with Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah.
It probably just has cats in it.
Yeah. Well, no. I think
no
there's
cats.
no. Well, it depends how free you are with the use of the word cats.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, moving
I
on.
mean, it's cosplayer too. I guess we could say pussies on here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true.
That's fine.
yeah. You know.
It's
I'm just saying.
It's in the name. So yeah.
Oh boy.
All
yeah.
right. So anyway, back to her. What else do you have to say about this movie? I absolutely love it.
Long distance relationships. Okay. It was so much of one that I'm seeing just kind of play through. I'm in one right now, and just like, oh my gosh, some things I noticed, and I was like, okay. Which is one. The whole long distance relationships. It can actually create more distance, and when I say that, I mean it can actually be something. Well, at least in this film, where it's something where every word is evaluated in a different way. How it's delivered, how it's said, everything can really kind of hang on a tip of a knife, you know? So one word can be said and boom, it can change the feel of everyone around you, and that can be able to do something, well, not everyone around you, but everyone involved in a relationship. And it can actually, once again, create distance. And it was something I did see with him and her.
What was the example that you have?
Well, the example still is the kind of three-way argument that they had with the surrogate, because that kind of built on to something bigger, and then later he asked her, after they had their problem, he sat down on the steps and he asked her, I forgot what did he ask her, something about just, shoot. I forgot. He said something to the exact great story, bro. But he said something to the extent, I forgot what it was, but her emotions, and why do you do that? The affectation, the and then
sigh.
he just like essentially he felt almost free in a way to almost attack her because he was upset. But the thing is, it's like in a conversation, usually when you're with someone, and if something like that happens, you have someone to look to. And it's kind of different. You don't just want to look at someone immediately and be like, yeah, let me go ahead and attack you back. When it wasn't even at that level, you know? But immediately, because she's not there, that distance makes it where it's like, oh, it's freer to do so. It's that almost that level of anonymity.
But yeah, I get that too. And I also feel like not even just long distance, but him also knowing where it's like, you're an OS system. I do not value you, which allows me to... And
that's horrible, though. When you first said that, yeah, you love this person. Now you're saying that. It's like, which one is it? You know, you evaluated your connection with them and said, yes, I do love you, and this is it. So I see you as someone that I do value. And then all of a sudden, immediately, he was able to, I devalue you, and now you are nothing. And it was like, wow.
And this
You're kind of like a cold piece of work, man.
It depends though, because everyone is different. Like if you've seen the newer Blade Runner movie, what was the new Blade Runner 2049?
2049.
So you see what's his name's character have his AI system, and she gets like a hooker, and she self-imposes herself on the hooker, and they kind of go at it. And she was like, I want to know what it's like to have a body. I want this for myself, and and I thought that was super interesting, and it's very similar to what this kind of situation is with the whole surrogate and going in. But
okay. I mean, I get that. That's actually very true. I mean, that's
and
something
it works,
I
and
did
it depends
address.
on what you really want, what your intentions are. Are you doing it? Are you gonna like whenever you bring someone else into a relationship, you need to think ahead. Like, are you okay with it? What are the boundaries? What are the rules? Am I really okay with this, or am I doing it for another person and not necessarily for me?
True. The subject of honesty came up during it also, and like I was thinking how like with a long distance relationship and how they were dealing with it, honesty is needed. And it will occur more often than not in kind of like more than it would in other relationships. And that's due to needing to have that open channel of communication. Because when it's a long distance relationship, what are you doing? All you're doing is talking.
Yeah.
All you're doing is sharing yourself. All you're doing is being honest to a level where it hits a peak of intimacy that you can't really get even when you're in a relationship where it's face-to-face, because when you're face-to-face, there are moments where you can sit and enjoy the silent moments, together, and we're just going to sit here and watch a movie together. But when you're in a long-distance relationship, you're not going to somehow cast and watch something.
I do get that, but if you're in a long-distance relationship or any relationship where your main interaction with each other is over the phone or Skype or whatever it might be, it forces you to work on your communication skills.
Yes,
and
it
I
does.
feel like that is important. If you have terrible communication skills, you are going to have a rough time at having a long distance relationship.
That's right.
But I feel like if you're willing to work on it, willing to spend the time to really articulate how you feel, which is why Theodore in this movie is just so good. And I feel like their fights are very, how do I say, like organic, like things that normally like couples may fight about, versus Amy Adams' character with her boyfriend that we see in there. She's like, we're fighting over the most petty shit, because I can't put my shoes away, and I just wanted to sit on the couch, and it's just like 100 times, and he thinks I'm not doing this. So I feel like having like these really good communication skills, and obviously Samantha's character is an AI system that knows how to articulate herself incredibly well, even when she doesn't really know what she wants to say, it still comes out in a way where he understands where she's coming from.
Well, once again, like you said, it's that the open channel of communication that comes with it, where one, you have to be honest with yourself, because there are things that you'll be able to say to this person that you can't say to others, and there are other things that you'll hear, and usually sometimes you'll hear it and it's easy to go ahead and say, oh, I'm offended, or I'm not offended, versus hearing it and say, let me take the time, let me check myself before I even react.
Yes.
Let me take that time to learn.
And it's hard because being human, you're always reacting. Like it's kind of like in our nature to see something and react to it. Like you see a cute dog, you're like, oh my god, so cute, before you even realize that you're running up to touch this thing.
But the thing is, the beauty of it is, once again, like you said, that being able to work on your communicative skills, it also does help you as far as, well, one, accepting the truth with the honesty, but that's what helped them as far as their fights being something that was like, oh, okay, I could see how you guys can have this fight. And even their fights were short-lived because they were still communicating very openly during the fight, where other people, that's not the case. Yeah. That's not the case. The fights are just like, blah, blah, on and on and on, there's a problem, et cetera, versus, okay, this is what I'm saying, and this is how I feel. Not this is what you're doing to me, this is how I feel. And she says, well, this is how I feel. And they go back and forth where it's very open, very honest, and it's genuine. Yes. And it's a level of intimacy that is great, and I love it because, like I said before, intimacy has 3 tenements. You know, intimacy is being seen, being heard, and being valued. And the thing is, when they were even fighting, he was still seeing her. He was still hearing her. But the problem was when the big fights was when he chose to devalue her. Yes. And that's where it was like, wow, that was interesting. And everything went back to normal when he actually brought that value back to her.
But one thing that I want to focus on, their way of communicating, I think is such a good example of how, not necessarily you should fight or have arguments, but it's like, especially in the beginning, when she says, when Theodore was talking about his ex-wife and, lost her and blah, 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 and he was like, you don't know what it's like to lose someone. And she brings it up later. She doesn't address it then, but you can tell that she's hurt. She's like, oh, you're right. I don't, right? And she's willing to admit it. But, like, later on, like, a few weeks later, she was like, yeah, like, what you said a couple weeks ago really did hurt me when you said that I don't know what it's like. And it's like, I don't. And for whatever reason, it still hurt my feelings. And he was just very like, oh, that wasn't my intention. I don't think you should feel bad. Right. It is not part of your past experiences. Like, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, murder somebody? Like,
see, but that's the beauty of it. All right, when he said it to her, she took the time to step back and say, well, you do have a point. Mm-hmm. The way you delivered it was the thing that was hurtful. Yeah. But you have a point. So she stopped and said, all right, let me just kind of,
because she knows she knows it's right. And she just came back later, was like, I don't know why I was so upset over it.
But that's beautiful.
But I like it, and that's the kind of communication that I feel like most couples should exhibit. Yes. So in almost all of our movies, I feel like this is one of the more healthy styles of relationships that
that's what I was leading the breadcrumbs to. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
It's so good. Like, their communication, the way they understand, even when they break up, I don't know, she goes into an abyss.
Well, she goes, as Josh says, to a higher plane of existence.
Yes.
So, how to deal with that? There is no way to deal with that. That is the ultimate best way to break up with someone. I'm sorry, I can't be here anymore. I'm going to another plane of existence. Yeah. And it's just like, he's like, I can't really fight this one.
Yeah.
You're gonna leave now. That's it. Goodbye.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, boomer. I don't know. What do you say? You don't know. You just accept it.
Yeah, because it's not something that you can have a conversation about. It's
Yes.
not really something that you can prevent.
Singularity.
It is not something that you can change about yourself.
Singularity, the only way to properly break up. That's it. Like, that's what you learn from this movie. Dear God, I'm sorry.
I don't know these references.
Well, no, that's what it is when they go to that higher plane of existence. It's called what they call a theory of singularity.
Oh, I didn't know
So that's
that.
where it's like,
So
yep,
it's-
that's gonna happen. Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, it's true. And even when she left, there wasn't animosity. There wasn't really, like, there is sadness,
Uh-huh.
but I feel like you have the sense that he's going to be okay. He's not going to
Ultimately,
go in
yeah.
the bathtub and just slit his
So
wrist,
his wrist, and it's like, that's the end. Her.
And in this kind of way, like, kind of brought this excitement, helped him get over his divorce with his ex and everything. And I feel like in that kind of situation is kind of that manic pixie dream girl that we've been talking about for the past 4 weeks. But obviously she's not, because she has her own ambitions, she has her own wants, her own desires, and she will pursue them.
Yes.
Freely.
Yes.
And,
That's it.
like, she isn't ruled. So it is that, like, introduce that kind of sense of happiness, adventure, spontaneity, everything that the manic pixie dream girl does.
True.
But isn't actually one, is her own individual character. Kind of like
Yeah.
Summer. I feel
Yeah.
like also kind of like
All the women in this were
Clementine,
Yeah,
you know?
if you did label them and said yes, they are manic pixie dream girls, you're wrong.
I feel like the
every
only
one
one
of
was
them,
probably Sam from Garden State in the movies that we watched. Like, she didn't really
Yeah,
have her own
yeah,
agency. She
yeah,
was just there to
yeah.
forward
That's true.
Zach Braff's character.
That's very true.
But all these other ones, and especially
Oh.
in this, because she straight up gets up and she was like, hey, there's a lot of things to experience, and I'm growing as a person, and you're going to try to hold me back.
Huh.
So
Jeez.
I'm going to get out of here. So out of all of them, I feel like she's the most developed, and this is one of the more healthy relationships that we've seen in the 4 weeks that we've been discussing these movies.
Completely agree with you there. There is no question about it. When it comes to this film, out of all the ones, very healthy. Once again, like we said, communication was above and beyond what you expect to see in these kind of relationships. Like we pointed out with the big fight that they did have, she took a moment to hold back and just kind of review some things.
Yes.
And then after that, when she felt, okay, now I've reviewed it enough to be able to share how I feel, like, effectively, then she took the time and said, you know what, this did bother me. And it wasn't, you hurt me and this is what you did. No, it was, this bothered me. And then after that, oh, okay. And then now I understand, oh, okay, I see what I did. Let's have this conversation. And that's great. That's the way it should be done. And so many people don't know how to do it. So this film really gives you the examples and sometimes some of the tools that you can use when having a disagreement with a significant other.
And you're absolutely right. I feel like that is one of the ways, like, it's so easy in arguments to try to blame the other person.
Oh,
but
yeah.
one thing they can't argue about is, like, you can't say you made me feel like crap. It's like the situation, like, I felt bad afterwards, or like I felt hurt or betrayed. And it's like no one can negate the way that you feel. Like,
No,
that is your
no.
feelings. And whether they were intentional or not, like, through their actions, that's
That
a
is
different
right.
story. But it's like, hey, I just felt really sad when you did this.
That's 100% correct.
And it's like, it may not have anything to do with the actions or with that person. It's just like, for whatever reason, that's how it made me feel. And, we'll get on with it.
And that's correct.
Because her, too, in the beginning, she was just like, I don't know why my feelings are hurt. It's just like, there's just so much I haven't experienced. And it's not your fault and it's not my fault, but it hurt my feelings. And it's like, whoa, you have feelings. Nice.
Dude, I mean, I'm just saying she was so far more advanced than I am even now. At moments where I'm like, dang, dude, I really get it. I really get it. Okay, that's what I need to learn from this. Like, let me pull that from this, and then let me make sure I can have that and get this and see what's going on. Because that's exactly what it was. And, man, the more I think about the film, there are more parts where I'm just like, oh, yeah. Ooh, oh, I love this too, and this is good. It's full of examples.
Yeah. I'm actually looking at all of these, and it's like, there's so many movies I haven't seen. I've never seen Looking for Alaska. I've never seen The Fault in Our Stars. I've never seen Elizabethtown.
Oh, jeez.
And I've not seen Disney's Haunted Mansion either.
Well, that's fine. Not that many people saw it. Eddie Murphy didn't see it. He was in the movie. So that's fine. But Looking for Alaska, I have not seen. Fault in Our Stars, I did. My daughter's, she's a rom-com fan. And it was a book, and that's why she loved it even more. She loves rom-coms if they were a book first. Oh, she's in for it. My girlfriend's a rom-com fan, so
I
I
feel like
watch
a lot
those
of people
too.
are rom-com fans.
Yeah,
I like them.
When I think about it, I'm a rom-com fan, but it's more like how it is on Pulp Fiction. Well, yeah,
But I feel
yeah,
like
that's true. They are not realistic.
It's like
just
how,
like
how guys
Alita.
like action movies. Yeah.
Alita is definitely not realistic in so many ways.
So fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, you don't watch a love
romance,
romance film for realism.
like for like dating advice. Yeah, like how action movies are stereotypical for men, rom-coms are stereotypical for women.
Yes.
And it's just fun. It's just like cheesy entertainment where you know it is not realistic. You should not put your expectations on these movies whatsoever.
Yeah,
and you don't mimic your life after them whatsoever.
What is your favorite? What is your favorite rom-com?
Oh man, that is so hard. I don't really watch a whole lot of movies.
Okay. Runaway Bride is a really good one. My friend, my best friend's wedding or whatever is the one I love.
I like Serendipity. Does that count?
That counts as one, doesn't it? Isn't it?
And
That's what I'm thinking of. My best friend's wedding. Yeah.
My best friend's wedding.
That
It's a
has
musical, and it's
Bridget
like
Jones.
it does.
I think Bridget Jones.
Bridget
is actually
Jones,
really
I
fun.
dug.
like that.
Oh my
I
God.
think she's so cute. Where it's like, oh, she doesn't know.
Wait, what?
Like,
There actually been a number of studies that have shown that rom-coms have created a false sense of what relationships are supposed to be. They are actually doing harm. That is very true. But then again,
because you
films
mimic your life
themselves.
after it,
Yeah.
and you really shouldn't. You need to realize that things like Twilight, that's not how real relationships are supposed to go. You don't do just long, glaring stances emotionally.
Well, Edward was 140 something years old.
Yeah,
and
I have issues with vampire romance.
Well, look, I already have so many problems with Twilight. I mean, honestly, the woman had to make a choice between necrophilia and bestiality just because she didn't want to bang a black vampire. So, that's my point.
Larry Newbill, thank you
about
for the
that.
super
Think
chat.
about that. What was the most selfish thing you've ever done? Wow, I don't know if that's a good question to answer, man. That's incriminating. It's incriminating for me because, boy, I've done a lot of selfish things. Like, for example, telling my daughter a theme park was closed because I didn't want to go. So, I mean, I'm just letting you know right now.
Wow.
There's a lot that I've done that just probably I shouldn't have done. So, I don't know. Yes, you up front. Oh, no, I thought you were telling me you had one. I was like, I can't wait to hear yours. No, but, that's me. What about you?
I don't know. The most selfish thing? That's kind of hard.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I think I trumped you. Sorry, baby girl, Disneyland's closed today. All right, let's go to the movies. And just like that.
I don't even think that's bad. Like, I kind of do
I thought all parents do it.
I kind of do that a lot on an everyday basis, though, where it's like, where people are like, hey, do you have plans this weekend? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to watch Netflix. And they're like, you want to go out? And I was like, I said I had plans.
Oh.
Because I want to be by myself.
Oh, okay, okay.
Or, like, every single...
Self-care.
Yeah, or every single night,
Mm-hmm.
or I tell people that I go to bed at 8. I don't actually go to bed at 8. It's just I don't want to fucking talk to you no more. Because I need an hour, to not be on my phone or the computer so I can go to bed. I don't. That's kind of like selfish, right?
Maybe not.
And then also because I tell people not to put me as their emergency contact because my phone is on silent. It doesn't even vibrate. So if you call me at say 1 a.m. like, hey, can I get a ride home from the bar?
You're gonna die.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm gonna get a missed call at 7 a.m. and be like, oh well, that already passed. I'm gonna return that phone call.
Oh darn!
I'm not going to this funeral.
Nope, I'm not going to this funeral. Don't got time for it. Nope, not happening today. Yeah. I think we've covered it. I was thinking about I think we've covered it.
I mean, we could talk so much more. If you ever want to go into THS hashtaggers, we can continue the conversation there. This is actually a really good movie. I wish we had a little bit more time to talk about it because it brings up a lot of different complex emotions and thoughts and despite the fact that it's with an AI system.
Very true.
But it's
very
super
true.
good. And it's really weird because recently I watched The Joker and then seeing him here again. I'm
Oh
just
my God, same thing.
And
Same thing.
The very moody atmosphere. I mean, it's a very different color palette, obviously.
Yes, the
but
pastels and everything like that.
I can't help but think of him as Arthur Fleck.
Oh,
and being
yeah.
like, man, your life is still kind of shitty and you're still kind of shut in and you kind of don't know how to communicate with people, but you come out okay at the end.
Yes, yeah. Right? I just,
Friends with Benefits. I never saw that either.
Oh,
Last
yeah.
summer,
I remember that movie. I remember that movie. Yeah.
All right. But we're gonna wrap up. Like it's getting pretty late. We're past our
Yeah, we're past our sign off
We will
time.
be trying to start at 9 o'clock like we normally do to get maximize conversations with you guys because we absolutely love it. Next month we're probably gonna do holiday movies. I think it'll be super fun. We don't know what they are yet. Maybe the first one, I don't know. Like Elf comes to the top of my head because that relationship is kind of weird, kind of super weird.
I'm singing, cause I'm nervous. I'm singing.
It's not even
this
that.
Is what I do.
It's when he's.
I love when he's. I love that
Zoe
scene.
Deschanel's taking a shower and he just comes into the
in,
women's restroom.
Yeah.
And sings with her, and she's wet and naked, and they end up dating. If that was my first encounter with everyone, I'd be like, "What the fuck? Get out of here! I'm calling the cops."
With Ryan Reynolds.
Well, yeah. Somebody didn't say it. Yeah, that's true. Oh my God, that is Just Friends.
I haven't seen that.
Oh my gosh, that's a perfect one.
Yeah.
So it's a guy. He was fat before, and then
he was fat and best friends with the hot girl.
he was fat best friends. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then he moves and goes to like I don't know somewhere. Let's say California or whatever like that. Slims up, becomes Ryan Reynolds, and then comes back to town and sees her again. And all of a sudden, sparks come back, and he's like, you know what? This time I'm gonna go for it. Okay. But she is currently dating someone at the same time, so it's like this whole thing where he's competing, and it's a very, very funny rom-com. Remember, Ryan Reynolds. So you're gonna see him shirtless at least 10 times in the film.
Okay.
So that's also good for eye candy. But that should be one maybe we'll do.
Okay.
I think you would like to see it.
I do like a lot of movies.
I wonder if it's on Netflix.
All right, but we'll post that up. If you want to follow us on social media, that hashtag show on Instagram.
That's right. Or actually, you can also follow us at the.illuminerdy.
We'll make posts there too.
Exactly. See stuff that we're doing, things we're trying to produce or create. More for you guys to be able to take in and enjoy as consumers. So you can see us there and find out what's happening there. Also, Cosmic Protectors, which is a project that is near and dear to our hearts, and we are working to make sure that once again we give you the best quality storytelling you can find concerning Power Rangers. Trust me, it's good stuff, guys.
But yeah, until then, you can like, comment, share, and subscribe
To keep up to date with everything trending
in geek pop culture. Bye, guys.